morning. My name is Jose Rivera, director of the track at Stingray Dragway.
All right, and my name's Tony Little. I'm with Stingray Dragway also.
My name's Thomas Costello. I'm an automotive instructor at Metch Tech Institute.
I'm Robert Ramos with BPD Orange County.
Florida has a big problem when it comes to illegal street racing. The problem starts in Orlando. It goes all the way to Tampa. It's all across Central Florida. Stingray Dragway, along with Horsepower Cells, Metch Tech Institute, and Beat the Heat program came up with an idea. We want to get the street racers off the street, along with the new owners of Stingray Dragway. The new owners know the problem that Central Florida has with street racing. The new owners said, we got to target this. We got to aid and help them out and give these kids a place to run. So what we came up with is it's a program called Off the Streets and to the Track. The program will work in two phases. Phase number one, every Thursday night, we're going to add street racing to our regular program that we have already on Thursday night. Meaning every Thursday night we're going to open 2 lanes dedicated for street racing. Hands down, no time, just like the streets. Okay? Remember, we're going to have EMTs, security personnel, and staff at our track. It's a closed environment. Also with that, we're going to have instructors from Metch Tech and professional race car drivers giving them a class about how to become more involved in drag racing and bracket racing, so they could take it from the streets into the track and become more professionals. Okay? These classes will be offered at no additional cost on Thursday night. Okay? Phase number 2, every Saturday, 2 Saturday nights a month, starting in September, we're going to have street racing night, and it's going to be completely dedicated at night for the street racers. Instead of going to the streets in Central Florida from Orlando to Tampa, now we have our racetrack who is going to do it 2 Saturday nights a month to start off with. Again, this is a pilot program. We're going to see, and we're going to collect the data, see how everything goes and all that, and we're going to evaluate and make adjustments and changes as we need them. Once again, 2 Saturday nights a month. It's going to be dedicated completely to street racing. Hands down, no time. The incentive for the kids are the following. We joined up with Metch Tech. Thank you very much, guys, for coming along with us. Also, Horsepower Cells. Thank you very much, guys. They're going to pay 50% of the total cost of the racers those 2 Saturday nights. Okay? General admission will be only $5 instead of $10. If you want to race your car, whoever wants to race their cars on the Saturday night, instead of being $10, will be only $5. Again, general admission will be only $5 those 2 Saturdays, and if you want to race your car down the street, will be only $5 additional to whoever wants to race. $10 compared to the consequences that you could have, anywhere from an accident, your car being impounded, you could lose your driver's license, accidents, and even death. I think $10 is not a bad price to pay to have a professional track in a close environment for you to race right here in Central Florida. Again, once again, Stingray Dragway, the new owners came aboard and said, look, there's a problem. We're aware of it. We're the new owners of this facility, which has been established for over 30 years in Central Florida. And they're taking the approach and they're saying, let's work with the community. Here we are. That's pretty much what the Off the Street and To the Track program entitles about. And again, also, I'm sorry about Robert Ramos and Beat the Heat program. Also, Beat the Heat program will be with us 1 Saturday a month. The Beat the Heat program, it's funded privately by the owners of the race cars. In this case, Mr. Robert Ramos has a race car. He's a sheriff, and he's going to be racing his own car and challenging the kids to take it from the streets and to the track, of the streets to the track. So we're going to get to challenge all the street racers to race a police officer down the track at Stingray Dragway. That's what's going to happen once a month also with the cooperation with Beat the Heat program, Orange County. Pay 50% of their total cost so they could go to the track. Also on Thursday nights, they're going to have a class. At the end, on Thursday nights, at the end of the Thursday night, we're going to take those street racers that we just teach the fundamentals about street racing. About bracket racing, the fundamentals. At the end of the night, we're going to have a race for them. And they're going to get to apply whatever they just learned on that class. They're going to apply it at the end of the night, and they're going to race for a trophy and prizes at the end of the night.
But to follow up on Lewis's question,
yes, sir.
I mean, as particularly men love horsepower, particularly young men.
Yes, sir.
And since they invented cars and since they invented red lights, guys are going to run them. you're not thinking that you're ever going to stop that, are you?
Honestly, drag race, the illegal street racing problem is a problem that's been forever, and I think it will never have a solution, unless the only solution to that will be having a track open 24 hours a day, running 7 days a week. That will be the only solution to that problem.
I guess that's my follow-up question. I guess what you're hoping it stops, because look, I pull up to a traffic light and the guy next to me gives me a wink. When I was 25 years younger, we were probably going to go. What you're trying to stop is the organized stuff where 40, 50 guys are meeting on a secluded road near Orlando International Airport like this weekend.
Yes, sir. You are totally correct about that. We want to bring you to a control environment. It's going to be organized instead of unorganized. You're not putting lives and people in danger. Nobody's going to be in harm's way. We're taking you to a control environment where only 2 vehicles are going to be involved in a race. Spectators are going to be off to the side. Nobody's going to be in the middle, so the citizens from Central Florida are going to be safe. That now that these new owners of this racetrack, and along with our sponsors and supporters, came along, and we want to aid the problem that Central Florida has with illegal street racing.
If I may add to that, look to yours, we're never going to stop it, but you will put a dent in it. Because you cannot use it as an excuse that, you know, a certain place was closed or whatnot. There's plenty of places to go near Orlando. It just takes a little bit of drive and initiative, and it's low cost. Are we going to stop it? No, that'd be insane for us to say that. But you can put a dent in it.
I guess you're thinking if you...
And I understand why. When I was out there Sunday and speaking to some of the kids that were out there, spectators and participants of this race, they said they've been going over to that portion of Huntington Boulevard all the time. Why now? You talk about the fact that there is, of course, drag racing problem all across Central Florida. Why now launch this pilot program, not launch it previously if this was an ongoing problem?
Thank you for that question. That's a valid question. Why now? The reason why now is because we have new ownership on the track. The new ownership came aboard, and he's willing to work with the community and take this track from one step to the next level. Work with the community. Before, I cannot speak for the previous owners or other owners of other track, but our new owners willing to work with the community.
Well, and I don't mean to ask a question about a facility that's not represented up there, but Orlando Speed World has drag racing every Sunday. They're a lot closer to the metro area. Do you look to make them a partner in this so people don't have to go to Lakeland? Not that Lakeland's the other side of the planet, but it is about 45 to an hour drive for a lot of people in the metro.
No, that's a valid question, and the reason we chose on Stingray Dragway is because of the location. The street racing problem is not only in Orlando, it's across Central Florida. It goes from Orlando all the way to Tampa. So our idea is to get all the kids from Tampa and Orlando meet in a central location and have street racing for them on those Saturday nights.
Like it's the same kind of thing.
Sure, I could speak from the future of the track. You know, like I said, since we have the new owners, we actually have been talking to Stunt Wars about taking their show to Lakeland Drag Strip to come back to cater to the motorcycle crowd. We also have other avenues such as media, radio, La Fiebre on board, Racing Scene Magazine, RPM Radio. Those are media, and we're using other avenues to help us out with the illegal street racing problem.
Any initial numbers in terms of how many security personnel, how many EMT staff members, so on and so forth?
Sure. Every night that the track is operating, we have at least one EMT officer and one security officer. That's every night.
And again, to make sure I understand your pilot program, it's going to be starting in September, every Thursday, and every other Saturday?
Every other Saturday, not right now, because once again, we're going to evaluate. The first one is going to be September 15th, and then the second one will be September 29th, those 2 Saturdays. Once we evaluate, then we'll come out with the schedule for the following month.
So obviously, if you don't have turnout, people are going to have to support it for it to continue to go because...
We're looking for the support of the company. We're looking for the support of the company and people, and obviously the street racers. We need to have the backup of the street racers and the community. And like I said, every Thursday night, regardless, we're going to continue with our program to teach the kids bracket racing too, so they could become more professionals.
Would you concur you're dealing with a group that often doesn't want authority, though? I mean, if you're asking them to go to a place where authority is good, I mean, there are going to be rules and regulations.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of the kids who are meeting on side roads on a Saturday night rules and regulations, the whole reason they're meeting there is to avoid that.
I understand, but it gets to a point that you have to grow up, and you can make the right decision or the bad decision. You can make the right one or the bad one, and also it has a good consequence and a bad consequence. And we have to enforce and educate and teach these kids to take it from the street into a sport of bracket racing and drag racing.
Will it clean up the image, though, of street racing?
Right, exactly. Trying
Yes,
to
sir.
clean the image up and to let kids know there is an option. You know, you don't have to do it on the street. There is an option. You know, you can bring it to the track and do it in a nice, safe environment.
Going back that you're not going to end it. You just hope to divert some of it.
Yes, sir.
Well, we want to divert some of it, and like I said, we need the community involved in this also. The more people that can get involved in it, and the more we can spread the word, the more options that they know there is to them. You know, we're not going to take it off 100%, but if we can get 25% of it off the streets, or maybe 50% of it off the streets into the track in this program, that's our main goal. And to elaborate on a question that was asked earlier, yeah, it's a pilot program, but as any program, it's not going to be trashed the first time out. We're going to take it, learn from it, and keep growing the program.
It's about
That's
safety.
our goal here. It's about safety and growing the program and reaching the kids. Now, we're going to do, these means here, and like I said, we're in contact with other locations to see if we can spread this out. Hopefully, we can take it Central Florida wide. Who knows? Maybe even statewide, and have other tracks involved in it. And the more people we can get involved in it, the more kids that we can save lives.
And also, we might be able to change it. We get some kids that might tell us, try it on a Friday and do a car club night and hang out night and try street racing on a Friday. We're willing to work with the community, and if we have to change it to a Friday or Saturdays, we're willing to do that. It's about saving lives. If it's 1 or 20, it's about saving lives one at a time, and educating the kids and making the Central Florida streets safer for all the community in the Central Florida area.
How much do you guys blame Hollywood for what's going on with these street cameras?
I think Hollywood exploited. I mean, because like the gentleman said, two persons are right next to each other on a line, look at each other, they're going to go. Just Hollywood brought it out, made it bigger, and exploited the scene of illegal street racing.
Basically, sensationalized.
Yes.
Hollywood. They basically took something that already existed
Yes.
and sensationalized it.
And a lot of that is a perception that the cars you see on TV are as fast as they are. These guys go out and put money into their cars and they don't realize, okay, you put a lot of money into your engine, but you forget the suspension, the safety equipment, the seat belts, and they don't realize that those cars are, made fast by cameras and computers. And reality is, when you make your car that fast, you can't actually drive it on the street without having the proper equipment, or take it to the track without the proper equipment, because they have a tech that looks at your car before you take down the drag strip. So you have to have safety before you race. And a lot of these kids don't have that knowledge, and that's what we're trying to do, is educate them. Long beat the heat, that's what we do. We travel all the tracks around the country and throughout the state in promoting safety and education. And like you were saying earlier, the thrill about doing it on the street, it's there. You can never stop that. But when you take them to the track and let them do it the way they do it on the street, with hands down, no lights, because a lot of kids are intimidated by that. They don't want to do it the proper way, staging. They don't have no idea because they don't know. When they come to the track, we teach them what that means. The first light, second light, stage light, green, red, whatnot. They rather do it, with the two hands, handkerchief, like the movies back in the 50s. But you can let them do that in the track, and then it attracts them to come out there.